This is the plaintiff, Shirley Hardiman. She says the defendant's her older brother and he works on air conditioning units. She hired him to fix her knocking furnace. He misdiagnosed the problem and made her purchase an expensive new motor when that wasn't the problem, and she wants her money back. That's right, brother or no brother, he wasted $300 of her money, and she's suing him for it. This is the defendant, Adele Hardiman. He says the plaintiff insisted he install a new motor in her furnace. So to make her sister happy, he did. He also needed to replace her thermostat because it was causing mixed signals to be relayed to the furnace. And now he's being sued? Some sister. He's accused of not fixing things right.
All parties, please raise your right hand. The People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, Your
All
Honor.
right, Ms. Hardiman, you are suing your brother, Mr. Hardiman, for $300 that you say he owes you because he did a repair in your furnace and it was unnecessary because it didn't solve the problem. Tell me what's happening.
Okay, I called my brother. It was a knocking on my furnace, and I called my brother because he does air conditioning to come over and take a look at it. So he was going to walk me through it, tell me what to look for and stuff like that. He was telling me, he said, I'm going to save you some money. I told him, I said, no, I just want you to come out and take a look at it yourself. He says, well, it's going to be a $40 service charge. So I told him, come on out. He came out, he was out there.
Does he work for himself or someone else?
He works for himself.
And how far is it that he came on out to look at your unit?
Probably about 25-minute drive.
Seriously? And he charged you a service charge for your sister? Jeez, dude.
Actually, the fact that she told you $40 is incorrect. I charged $70, and it's a 45-minute drive from Blue Spring to Overland Park.
So you told your sister, yeah, I'll go check out your furnace, sis, but I'm going to charge you $75?
No, 70.
70. Do you ever visit her or no?
Yes, I do. We do.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
He did not tell me that it was $70. I would have paid him $70 for the service charge.
You would or you wouldn't have?
I would have.
Okay,
I
well, how
would
much
have.
did you pay him?
$40.
Okay, so go on.
So when he came out there, he was out there 15, 20 minutes, and he said, well, I can't stay out here because I got other things to do. So I paid him.
You paid him what?
The $40.
Okay.
Service charge, even though I didn't get anything for it because he didn't.
Well, what did he say was wrong?
He didn't. He said he can't tell me what's wrong because he didn't hear anything during the time that he was there. But I had explained to him it was not just doing it on a constant. It was periodically.
Right. So cannot duplicate customer complaint.
So.
Right.
Okay. So I recorded it and the knocking. I recorded and then sent it to him and told him you can listen to it then and maybe you can figure out what the problem was. The problem is. So to me, if he had taken the time when he came out there on service call and to listen to find out what the problem was, then we wouldn't be here.
Okay, but let me ask you, but how long do you expect the guy to stay there? If it's intermittent, should he be there 12 hours? Like how long would he?
No, but 10, 15 minutes, you know.
Well, let's say he had stayed 45 minutes and it didn't make the noise because you said it was intermittent, it wasn't happening. Yeah. So what's he supposed to do?
Well, I felt he could have stayed longer.
Yeah,
but,
all right. So now you give him a videotape, an audio tape of the noise, and what's he say?
He's saying that he cannot hear it, but I can hear it on my phone.
Okay, so what happens?
So he comes back out there.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
All right. Does he charge you another service charge?
No.
Okay, so he goes back out there and what's he do?
This time he tells me he hears the noise. He tells me it's the motor on the capacitor in the furnace. He said it needs to be replaced. So he sent me paperwork saying for the service charge, material, and the motor is going to cost me $300.
To have it installed?
For him to install it.
Right.
He told me, he says, well, it's going out. That's what he told me. He said, it's going out. He says, but I'm going to go ahead on and order it. So when it goes out, then I'll have it on hand. I can come on out there and put it out. So he told me to open the doors of the furnace and get the model number, the serial number, and the make
Okay.
of the furnace so that he could order the motor.
Right.
Which
and
I
he
did.
does. And then he comes to your house with the motor and what? So now he's a third time there.
Yeah.
Does he install the motor?
Yes.
Does he still hear the knocking?
Yes. You still
Oh, so if he still hears the knocking, what does he?
No. He installed the motor and he left. I paid him $300. And
Did you end up hearing the knocking?
Yes.
How much later?
later on that day.
And
that
what do
night.
you call him and you tell him it's still knocking?
Yes.
And what's he say?
Well, he says, well, I think it's the thermostat. He said the thermostat's got too much on it. I mean, you know, you need to delete some of the...
Reset it to factory settings?
Yes.
Okay.
Delete some of the...
Settings of on and off.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That did not work. So I told him that did not work. He says, well, the thermostat needs to be replaced then. So he says, I'm going to come out there and replace the thermostat. He came out there and replaced
So he came out a fourth time?
He came out a fourth time.
Okay.
So I paid him $50 this time. Well,
Did that solve the problem?
That solved the problem.
Okay.
Yes. But see, what I'm saying is if he
Had said
stayed-
it's a
if he had-
thermostat
if
at the
he had-
beginning, you wouldn't have been out the $300.
Exactly.
Okay,
And
now
if
let me
he-
hear from you, brother, Mr. Hardiman.
Well, part of her story is correct. The other part of it has flaws in it. Surely, she asked me to come over and check the toilet because it was loose. So I come over there with my assistant, Hazel Booker, and I take the toilet up, find the flange is broken, I repair it at the same time that sort of listen to the furnace to see if any kind of noise may take place. Nothing. And I text her and tell her I haven't heard anything yet. So once we fix the flange to check for leaks, I sent Hazel downstairs with a light in the basement to check to see if anything's leaking. She said, no, nothing leaking yet. So I flush it again, nothing's leaking. So I said, I tell Hazel, stay upstairs, I'm going down and check myself to make sure everything is fixed on this here. So once I go downstairs and check for leaks, have Hazel upstairs flushing the toilet, I do hear some noise. I text Shirley and tell her I do hear a noise. However, I have a capacitor on my truck. I'm going to put a capacitor here, no charge.
So
And
you
it
put
was-
in a capacitor, the flux capacitor. I
It's-
can
it's-
never
it's-
hear the word capacitor without saying flux capacitor.
It's like a
Back to
battery
the
to
Future.
boost the-
But all right,
because-
so you boost it with the capacitor, and then what
to help
happens?
It, help it start. And it seemed like it's running okay. And I
But then she calls you and tells you it's knocking.
About a day or two later, she
All right.
called me and tell me it's making a noise. I said, okay, I'll come over there and check it out, see what's going on with it. So I pick up the motor just in case it is the motor.
Right?
So I get over there, and now I'm physically checking the motor to see if that's the problem. And then I tell her, I said, the motor is not the problem. And then she gets this sad look on her face and everything. And then I tell Hazel, I'm going to tell Shirley that I will go and put the motor on. That's a brand new motor to make Shirley happy, to appease her.
Why would you? Okay, but I don't understand. Like, if it's not the motor, then why bother? Why not just return the motor you bought?
Because that's just the factory motor and everything there, and since the intermittent, it's not making a noise all the time. There's a little slight possibility it could be the motor.
That
but I
it still
doubt
could be
it.
the motor.
Right, but I don't.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't have.
All right, so you change a motor. Now she has a new motor.
Right.
Right, and then it turns out the knocking continues, and then you change the thermostat. She'd like to know why the thought of changing the cheaper thing didn't come up first. I'm just
Because
asking. I don't know.
the thermostat seemed to be working okay at the time. The thing about it, I didn't discover until after I put the new motor on there, the thermostat was all messed up.
Why though? Isn't that exactly why you buy one of those units? Is
If
so
it's
that
an
you,
old thermostat and everything, it wasn't working.
what's old? The Nest or something
Right, the Nest
else?
thermostat, yes.
You know, he's your brother. Do you guys have a good relationship before this? Like,
we have a good relationship now. This is business. That's
maybe
why-
you guys shouldn't do business.
We have a good relationship now.
When was the last
if he
time you
had-
talked
if he-
to him?
If he had told, I'm over there. I'm over to his house now, living over there while I'm selling my house.
Is he charging you rent?
No, but
Why are you suing? What is wrong with people?
Hey,
This is business.
Ask her why.
If he
Ask her
had-
why she's
Why
there.
aren't you paying rent? Ask her
Because-
why what?
Ask her why she's there.
Why are you at his house?
the house is getting sold.
Which
The
house?
this house I was living in. is
Okay,
getting
so
sold.
why did you want me to ask her that?
Well, that's partially true, too, but I'm going to leave that alone. That's a whole other story.
He's going way off on the other things.
Oh, Judge, can I ask you
But-
something? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. I'd like you to say something.
Okay. I took the motor over there just in case it was a problem with the motor. But like I said, to appease her, that's why.
But I don't think you should be appeasing her. If you know it's not the motor, then return the motor. How much did the motor cost?
$152.
Right, so you return the motor, and then you don't have to install the motor. You don't appease like she's a nut gaslighter and make her pay for something that you knew. See, you're telling me you knew it wouldn't work.
I don't think it's the motor's the problem.
That is not what he said.
Yes, I did.
Well, I think it's worse for you that you said that. If you actually know the motor isn't going to do it, I just want to appease her. I want to make her happy. She looks so sad. I wanted to make her. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I don't want to lie to buy anything. I'm gonna say it.
I understand, but then
Look, when he did install the thermostat, and it worked. I told him then, I said, I want my $300 back. I said, because you had me to pay for a motor.
Yeah, but now he can't return it because it's in there.
Right.
Yeah, but apparently he didn't know what the problem was. He was guessing, and it
right.
was
So don't hire your brother to do that kind of work in your house because it's awkward.
No.
You're living in his house rent free. The whole thing is just killing me.
He told me to bring him to court. That's why we're here. I said, can I get my $300 back? He says, no, take me to court. So we're here.
I said, I don't mind going to court. Get it correct.
And then what? And then he locks the door on you today and you have nowhere to live?
No.
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 He would never do that.
That's not going to happen. But it's business to me. That's why if he had told me he was going to charge $70 service charge, I would have paid him. If when he installed it, like he said, when he came out there
Okay, stop talking. I'm ready. I can't. The thought that I would sue my brother, that I would take my brother to court. My brother's a contractor. The thought that I would take my brother to court over something I asked him to do when I'm living on his couch.
No. I just been over there this week.
Yeah, no. It's I am a guest in his house for the last week.
You know what
it's crazy.
You know what he told me about being a guest in his house?
What?
I told him, I said, well, I guess I won't take you to court because I'm living over here. He said, no. We're going to go settle this. That's what he
did. Okay, wait, I love this. Did that happen?
I said, no, it's going to take the court because I want her to settle this thing. We want to settle this thing. I don't want her to keep saying, well, you did me wrong.
Right.
Once you make a judgment.
You want me to just make the judgment and then the two of you can move on, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That'll be
Right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to make the judgment. Normally in a case like this, when that side, first of all, normally in a case like this, that side is not the sister of that side. But normally in a case like this, I say, listen, this is hard work. You think this will solve it. It's probably going to solve it. It's a good practice to change the motor because it's probably going to solve it. He doesn't know until afterwards that it's not going to solve it. So I'm not going to hold that against him. And by the way, you have a new motor in there. That's what I'd normally say. But I have a case where you are looking at me in the face and telling me I knew the motor wouldn't solve it. And I knew that, and I'm the expert. And at that point, I could have returned it and not bothered to install it, so then I wouldn't have wasted labor and I wouldn't have wasted the part. But I knew her motor was fine, but then I did it to appease her. You're wrong then. Normally you wouldn't be wrong, but you're so wrong if you're the expert and she's relying on you and you just wanted her pretty face to be smiling. $300 verdict for the plaintiff. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
Oh, my gosh.
Right, guys, stay right there, please.
Okay.
So the judge says the plaintiff is right. She's going to get her $300 back from her brother. This brother-sister dispute. Mr. Hardiman, let me ask you, this settles the issue. You wanted to come to court and settle it. Are you satisfied now?
I'm okay with it.
I got to ask you, your sister's staying with you right now. Is that right?
That's correct.
Did you come to court together in the same car?
No.
Okay,
Just
all
my
right. Well, I'm sorry, but thank you very much. You got to give the money back. That's what the judge has ruled.
All right. Thank you.
Ms. Hardiman,
Hi.
let me ask you how you feel. I guess you're happy now then,
Yes,
aren't you?
I am happy.
All right. What's going to happen when you see each other back? Well, you'll see each other outside the courtroom, I guess. When you go home tonight, will there be peace in the house?
It's not personal. That's my brother. I love my brother. This was business.
I know you do.
This was business.
Okay.
So I felt like he knew what he was doing. I didn't tell him to order a motor because I don't know anything about a furnace. So he took it upon himself to say that was a problem, ordered the motor, and it was a waste of my money. So that's why we're here.
Yeah, okay. Question is, you've won. Now, you going to rub it in on him when you get home with him tonight?
Yes.
Yeah, you are.
Yes.
I'm not surprised. Well, this is really rare. All right, congratulations to you. You did the right thing, and good for you.
All
Okay?
right. All right. Thank you.
All right.
So, Doug, for a second, let's forget about the fact that this is brother and sister, because it really does complicate things. If you hire a contractor to do a job, and the contractor is an expert at what he's doing, and by him charging, he should be an expert, or if she is charging, she should be an expert. The reality is this, that the contractor has a duty to inform the customer if the repair that the customer thinks he or she wants isn't going to fix the problem, or if it's an unnecessary repair. That is on the contractor, and ultimately, when push comes to shove, the judge generally will side with the customer.
We had water coming through our backyard retaining wall. In the past, our neighbor's irrigation system leaked and caused a problem. They said it was off this time. We tried filling in the dirt behind the wall and other things to stop the water, but it kept coming. We finally had a leak detection company come out. With their permission, he checked the neighbor's property, and it turned out their irrigation system was still on and leaking into our yard. Are they responsible to pay for the leak detection costs?
In this situation, there's what's the right thing, what should you do, and what are you obligated to do? I would submit that no, they're not obligated to pay for the leak detection. They should pay for it. I have to imagine that the neighbor whose wall was getting damaged and had the flooding coming under it was pretty desperate if they hired a leak detector and said, hey, check on their side too, and then got permission to go over there and check. So, yeah, you should pay for it. But you've damaged their fence already, apparently, or you've done some damage to their property.
If I had a case in front of me where they were suing their neighbor for whatever damage happened because of the water,
you might include that.
I would include that as a damage.
Right.
The fact that they had to prove that it was happening is a cost of the litigation.
Right.
And
but it's going to take a lawsuit to get them to pay.
It's going to take a lawsuit to get them to pay, but I think they should pay. And I think I would find that they had to pay because in this case, it's not because let me just finish, because it's not that for once you're interrupting me. It's not that he had no clue. He actually said, the neighbor actually said, oh no, the irrigation system's off.
Right.
And then that turned out not to be true. It was on.
Right.
So that's kind of careless.
But the neighbor who is asking to get compensated could have asked, hey, will you split the cost with me, or will you pay for it if
there's always a better way to do this than a lawsuit.
Right.
It's always, you know. Yeah.
Right. Is that going to be included in damages? I can understand the argument for including it in damages. I don't know whether I would or not.
I think I would give it.
All right.